Putin has agreed to come to Alaska, to to NATO territory, in order to speak with Trump. That was the sign of great respect of our political leader to American leader, to Trump. And they have achieved very important agreements about how to make the peace happen, how to organize that, how to fulfill the task of peace. But what came after? So the European leaders and Zelensky came to Washington, and I think the neocons, all the neocons, as Richard Blumenthal, as Lindsey Graham, and the other, Mark Levin, they came to Trump as well in order to persuade him to change some points, some elements, some expressions in the agreement between America and Russia. We try at any price. We are trying to save the peace agreement, but now I think that is the huge operation of sabotage of this peace, and it is directed not only against us. We could stay the fight. If we will be obliged. We can fight until our death against this aggression, because we consider the behavior of the NATO in Ukraine as aggression, direct aggression against our country, as if, for example, we would try to impose our military and political control over Mexico, over Canada, and threatening the United States of America to attacking its legitimate strategical interest. And now we are in this, we are on the fence. So, and we were already, we have agreed with Trump, but what was done with this previous agreement in Alaska, that great step toward the peace, was sabotaged, was destroyed, was disfigured, was dismantled by the pressure of this deep state. We could not only blame the European countries or Zelensky. They need war. They are totally, as you have said correctly, Alex, they are totally irresponsible, or maybe they are just sick people wanting to die. But they have destroyed and disfigured this original plan, and I think the problem with Trump, that he, with all the good desire, with all his goodwill and his absolute loyalty to American interests and American people, now he is fooled.
The government fears Alex Jones, who has the largest audience in the country, bigger than any of the networks, the biggest megaphone in the country.
The deep state hates Alex Jones with a vengeance.
Alex Jones is the most extraordinary person I've ever met.
We're connecting with Alexander Dugan right now to give his expert 35,000-foot view on what's really happening with the Ukraine war peace negotiations. Putin's responded to NATO's proposals to send in troops and said, we'll blow your troops up if you come in. Trump's signaling he might authorize bombing inside Russia. I mean, this is just wild and dangerous, obviously. But I wanted to play a few of the clips of Trump on troops in D.C., now in Chicago. No murders now in D.C. since they did this. And the left completely flipping out. Here's some of what Trump did in the last 24 hours.
But I've never received so many phone calls thanking me for what we've done in Washington, D.C., from people that haven't gone to a restaurant literally in 4 years. And they said, you know, what you've done it's unprecedented, because what they said, it was just unsafe. We couldn't do it. We'd go out and you'd see the stories, you'd read the stories, you'd see all of the things that are happening. And they said, we couldn't stand it, sir. And now I take my wife and my kids to dinner. One of them said he's gone out 4 nights in a row, and he hadn't gone out for 4 years. So it's a great tribute to you. And when I look at you people, I understand why, because there's no games, right? We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. The crime numbers are way down. I'm looking at, you saw some of the stats. They just read them out to me inside. The numbers that we haven't seen here ever, actually ever. And I think it's probably right now, it's to me, I feel very safe now, and I'm hearing people are very safe, but I know within 2 weeks it's going to be, Pam, it's going to be at a level that's even far superior. So I just wanted to thank you all. You're doing incredible. You're incredible people. You make the country run, frankly. You make the whole place run. We're going to have the best capital ever. We're going to have it's going to look better than it ever did. One of the things we're going to be redoing is your parks. I'm very good at grass because I have a lot of golf courses all over the place. I know more about grass than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world. And we're going to be regrassing all of your parks, all brand new sprinkler systems, the best that you can buy, just like the Augusta. No, it'll look like Augusta. It'll look like, more importantly, Trump National Golf Club. That's even better. But we're going to have all brand new, beautiful grass. You know, like everything else, grass has a life. Do you know that? Grass has a life. You know, we have a life and grass has a life. And the grass here died about 40 years ago. So we're going to be rebuilding all of your parks, and it's going to happen fast. It's going to go up like a miracle. So you do the job on safety, and I'll get this place fixed up physically, and we're going to be so proud of it at the end of 6 months. But let's say at the end of a year, this place will be maxed out in terms of beauty.
And I think you brought some food for him, didn't you, President?
So we have great hamburgers cooked by the White House, and we have pizza that I said, don't do it in the White House because we went to a place that makes the best pizza. So we'll concede. But we have a lot of it. So we're going to have some fun. We'll eat, and I'll eat with you, and we're going to have a little fun. We're going to celebrate, but then we're going to get back to work, and we're going to take care of these criminals. We're going to put them where they have to be. You're going to say, don't play around with us. Don't play around with us. So let's go have something to eat. You're going to like the hamburgers. Would you rather have hamburgers from the White House or pizzas from a good place, huh? I think they want the hamburgers. Have a good time, everybody. Thank you very much.
Trump's a good man. He doesn't want nuclear war, but he knows the deep state will try to kill him again if he doesn't play ball with them at certain levels. The EU needs the war with their own admissions for their economic plan because they're collapsing. It's total insanity to watch Ursula von der Leyen and others say, we're going to have a 20-year war with Russia, we're going to bankrupt them, break them in 5 parts, as if the Russians don't see that, and as if the Russians haven't outproduced weapons 3-1 and have won and are the ones that were attacked. And that's just a fact. I serve the truth, and anybody can see that. But NATO and others have brought forward the proposal to put 200,000 plus troops in as a peacekeeping force to basically say they're not in NATO, but they are in NATO. And that's the red line Putin said he was going to move in on. So the Russians are done. They're completely surrounded. And if we were surrounded like that, we would never put up with that. This is madness. This isn't some Middle Eastern country we can go bully. This is the biggest nuclear power in the world. You can say, well, we got super weapons. Okay, but it doesn't matter. We're all dead. This happens. And this is satanic. These people are crazy. And it's so emblematic to have somebody like Zelensky, this homosexual prostitute reportedly, plays pianos with his penis. He's a total joke, ran on peace, and now he's a dictator, a year and a half, no elections, arresting his political opposition, banning the Orthodox Church, and Trump called him out. Zelensky, I can't give away land, I got to talk to my Congress. And Trump's like, I can't have elections because we're in a war. And Trump's like, so I should have a war and not have elections? Russia has its elections during wars. So it's a lie. And it's totally illegitimate. So Trump's trying his art of the deal, being nice, not being nice, threatening, maybe if the peace deal isn't going on, maybe we'll authorize attacks inside Russia. I got that statement yesterday. Can't play with fire like that. And if Russia was expansionist and doing any of this to us, I would be a Russophobe. But I've studied history. Russia's not in our business because they don't need to be in our business. They've got the richest country resource-wise in the world. So I appreciate Alexander Dugin, who is, one of the most famous Russian philosophers of the last 100 years. I know he's not an arrogant person, but we need to state the facts. He's kind of the modern I would say, permutation of like an Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and certainly stands up for his people. And so it was his daughter, and I see she has her photo behind him, so I wasn't going to bring it up, but I noticed he has that, so I will. On August 20th, 2022, they thought they were trying to kill him, but he was in the other car. They blew her up in front of him. We have the footage. I probably shouldn't even show it again. And Daria Dugina, again, the Russian, the last name has a feminine name to it. It's his dad, Dugan, Dugina, for Americans who understand that. And so he's got real skin in the game. You know, I've had the CIA, it's all come out in court, harass my family and everybody, bankrupt my parents, everything else. But, you know, I'm lucky because whatever happens to me, I signed up for this. It's part of the war against the globalists. But I didn't have one of my 3 daughters blown up. So I have 3 daughters. That's certainly like my grandfather used to tell my dad, I saw a man that had no shoes, you know, or had no shoes. I felt sorry for myself till I saw a man who had no feet. So he certainly paid a heavy price. I would imagine he would rather be killed himself. There's really nothing worse than to have your child die before you, but it is for a great cause of sovereignty against this satanic globalist order. So he's a very polite person, and I'll talk endlessly. I basically have autism. But I want to give him the floor about the general view, where this is going, what he's expecting to happen, what Americans can do to help stop this, and then an excellent analysis he did with Tucker Carlson a year ago. I'd like him to update liberalism and its final extension, where it's leading to, where it's going, and why it's cancer and has to be totally rejected. So I really appreciate him joining us. He's on X at AG Dugan, just AG Dugan, and be sure and check that out and follow that. Trump is a hostage of the process whose real nature he ignores completely. Alex Jones says he is burnt out, something more serious. He is drawn into the reality, the sense of which he misses. The world is between Antichrist and Antichrist. So I'm going to give you the floor, because we only got you 45 minutes, because I want to hear what you have to say. I want you to go deep. Just forget I'm here and just go. You're hosting the show. I'll be here if you need me. Alexander Dugan, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Alex Jones. I really admire your steadfast loyalty to your country. I am a patriot of Russia, and you, without any doubt, you are the patriot of United States of America. It is your country. It is your motherland, and that is what unites us. So being in favor of traditional values, maybe we have different tradition, we have different historical experience, but we are fighting for our identity. You are fighting for American identity, for deep roots of your country, and I do the same. I do the same on my part. So when Trump came to the power, I was very excited. I was very optimistic about Trump in the first term. And above all, I admire his courage and his greatness fighting against globalists during 4 years of the pressure, of the censorship, of the humiliation. And he has shown that he is a real man, and he has won. And in the next term, after this attempt to kill him by globalists, maybe with implication of some dark forces inside of United States of America as well, he has won, and he came to the second term with MAGA, Make America Great Again movement. I am an admirer of MAGA. So because in the principles and the depth, MAGA is something I agree totally with. So there is return to the roots, to the identity, to the sovereignty, to the traditional values, to the heroic examples of the serving the cause, the country. And Trump was a kind of icon of that. So I was very optimistic, and the people I follow, as you, Alex Jones, as Tucker Carlson, as Candace Owens, as Steve Bannon, and many other, Joe Posovets, and the people that I respect. So the people like that, as Tulsi Gabbard, as many others, Judge Napolitano and the other, you have won. You have overcome the globalism, this anti-human system that Peter Thiel, that I respect as well very much, or Elon Musk, Peter Thiel has declared that globalist idea is that of Antichrist. So that is idea to end the humanity, to put the end to the natural relations between sexes, between genders, between men and women, so total destruction of the state, of the family, of traditional relations. And you have won over all that. So over deep state, over globalist lobby, over neocons, over Obama and Biden's dark network. You have won over Soros, and I expected, I hoped that finally this confrontation, this hostility between United States of America and Russia, this time, both in favor of a return to the traditional, to the normality, this fight will stop, because Trump has said many times, that is not my war. It is Biden's war. It was started by globalists. That was not in the interest of American people, not in the interest of American geopolitical goals, because it is too far from us. Russia doesn't represent any challenge, any threat, any menace to the United States of America. We are too far, and the only thing we are seriously we take in consideration, it is our own defense, our strategical interests, and Ukraine. It is the neighbor country that this territory belonged during our history always to us. And
it's a Slavic civil war, which is the genius of the globalist.
Exactly.
Nobody can beat the Russians, not Napoleon or Hitler. You beat the Russians with Russians.
Absolutely, because we are the same people. We have the same religion. We have the same history, the same identity. And the heroic Ukraine people fought during many centuries defending their Christian Orthodox identity. So they are our brothers and sisters. And that was the evil genius exactly of the globalists to split us. To impose the wrong consciousness on Ukrainians as if they are the separate nation with different language. But that was the part of the many form of speaking of Russian. Small Russian, Belarusian.
And by the way, the media spins that and acts like it's a Russian talking point. Russia basically came out of Ukraine, if my history's right. So the idea that it's a Russian lie that Ukraine has been Russian or is Russia, no, it's a fact.
Absolutely. So that is not correct to say that Ukraine belonged to Russia. We belonged. We both, all our peoples, we belong to the same civilization. We came from Ukraine. Ukraine was the cradle of our civilization, of our ethnic identity. So we belong to the same root, the same matrix, and historically we're separated.
And that's key. It's not even that it's equal. It literally, because it's in the history, I know you won't, it literally, what the culture, the term Slav, right, comes from the first priest, Slav, the wise, right? So it literally, Russia comes out of Ukraine, then Ukraine gets taken over by outside groups, then the Moscow tribe comes and saves them. I mean, it literally is Russia.
Absolutely. So there is not one nation against the other nation. That is the same nation that was divided, split by the foreign powers.
And Putin tried to explain this to Tucker, And Tucker's smart, but kind of was like, it was Lenin gave it away.
Absolutely. So Lenin, during this Stalin, we have won the part of the Western Ukraine from the Austrian. Before we have liberated the other part of the Ukraine from the Poland. So, and inside of Soviet Union, Khrushchev has given the part of the same country under the governance of the Ukraine. That was the part of the same state. So that was not just to give the land and to give to the other country. That was the distribution of authority inside of the same political and system. So that was, we are the one and the same people, one and the same thing.
And notice Zelensky tried to outlaw speaking real Russian and has attacked it and said, we'll arrest you if you admit any Russian roots.
Yes, now they say, so we need to destroy, to kill everything Russian in them. But if they kill everything Russian, they will kill themselves. And what is going on now? Precisely, that is suicide, that is homicide, that is killing of themselves, and not only of, that is, we are the same splitting subject. We are not two people, two countries, two cultures. And what is important, that has nothing to do with the life interest of United States of America.
Exactly. So they're trying to get the identical twin to kill the other, but the polls show upwards of 80% of Ukrainians are against the war, so they understand that.
Absolutely, but they could not express freely their will, because there is dictatorship imposed by the globalists, not but the West, because the Western peoples have nothing to do with this conflict. I don't think that the West really, the Western people really hate us.
The average American thinks Russia is on Mars. They know nothing.
Absolutely. So that is important. So and why I had a great hope on MAGA, because MAGA is about America first. The MAGA is and was about American geopolitical interests, how to restore the dignity, the glory, the importance and the sovereignty in United States of America, liberating yourselves from this globalist dictatorship, from this network that tried to kill your identity, because all the Democrats, the liberals, the globalists, they wanted to impose the view it is not America.
That's why they hate Putin, for restoring Russian identity.
Exactly. And that is the kind of role model, not for Trump. That is the role model for patriotism, for the return to the tradition. So we are as well very, very influenced by the West, but we try to separate the good thing from the toxic ones. So
the fake West, the neoliberal cancer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are not the enemy of the West by the principle. We have our own Christian Orthodox identity. That is the
false Western cancer.
Absolutely, but that is why I feel so much solidarity with MAGA, with American people trying to restore your sovereignty.
Where has Trump gone wrong, or he's starting to slip? Well, that's my view. What's happening?
So it is difficult, it is hard to explain that, but in some point, the things went wrong. So I have remarked, following closely the development of the Trump's administration, I have observed that at some point something went wrong. So instead of MAGA strategy, or instead of MAGA platform, instead of MAGA ideas, there appeared neocons, the people who despised Trump, who fought against him, neoconservative part of the GOP, of the great old party, the Republican. They they became very powerful. They started to once more, as in the time of the first term with Bolton and the other people from conservators, they tried to control Trump, and they inspired in him this. Total submission. So Trump is very powerful man and very great man with great individuality, and somehow maybe he was blackmailed, maybe he was controlled by some other means, but he started to slip from to get out from this straight path declared by him.
I can tell you, Alexander, the main thing. He has to work with Congress. He wanted his economic tax cuts, and they basically made him come off his stance some on the war. But nuclear war is a bigger issue. It has to be stopped. Let's come back to it. I'll give you the floor again. Amazing information. And talk about what Putin has said, what NATO wants with a so-called peace force. It's a military force, where this is going. And you're right. There's a battle over Trump. He was getting really bad for a while. We're pulling him back right now. They've now raided Bolton. I can tell you, grand juries are getting ready to indict them. Let's talk about what should happen straight ahead with Alexander Dugan. Stay with us.
What really makes a nutraceutical work? What is a nutraceutical? What is a supplement? Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about power plant, for example. So methyl drive is something that everyone, whether they're 12 or whether they're 90, they should all take it. Power plant is a little bit more specific. It's good for both men and women. I would say it has a stronger, more pronounced factor on the younger side, especially people that are into high intensity exercise. Key ingredient in that is cordyceps, which increases your oxygen carrying capacity, but it also increases ATP, and it also helps you make new mitochondria. So imagine taking something like cordyceps found in power plant and then combining it with methyl drive, but oh wait, there's also total male mineral support in power plant. We've got zinc, which increases luteinizing hormone, which makes you produce more testosterone, but then to counteract the rise in sex hormone binding globulin, we include boron in it to increase your free testosterone. That's something that normal formulas don't do. We've got the thing that creates free testosterone in your body in power plant, according to studies. That's mainline, you can Google it.
And not all CoQ10 is the same, right?
Everyone should take CoQ10. Listen, and if you're going to take CoQ10, you're going to go to some store, some pharmacy, and they're going to try to sell you a bottle with the same amount that's in here for like $50. You get CoQ10 plus 4 other ingredients with this. It's
and the same amount.
Same amount. It's incredible. We make this stuff for you and for ourselves. Everyone at the Infowars office is gobbling these supplements left and right. That's why I made these, is so I could take them.
And then you designed it to go with our ultramethylene blue.
Absolutely. That's the key. Before any man or woman, young and old, if you're on methylene blue, you got to take it.
Everybody loves the formulas, and I've noticed if I take both together, the energy is totally insane. Each one is very strong on its own.
Methyl drive is something that every person in the country should take.
So the methylene blue is like the engine and gasoline. These products together is a nitrous oxide.
Exactly. It turbocharges.
I love history, and I love studying different human cultures, and I love integrating with all the information I currently access in all my sources. And, you've seen the corporate media attack me over the years. Oh, Jones is this Russophile, and he just gushes over Putin and all this other stuff. As Alexander Dugan just said 20 minutes ago, Russia's resistance to the globalist satanic cancer is a normal human response to the disease. It's the white blood cell. It's what we should be doing, and we are. And we are so close to routing these people. Everything they push is antithetical to normal human behavior, antithetical to God. And geopolitically, we never wanted to drive Russia into China's arms. It's bad for us at the end of the day, just from a cold-blooded perspective. So Trump is very pragmatic and was doing the right thing. Now he puts out statements, I'll read in a moment, about, Russia doesn't make a deal, Ukraine can't win a war if it doesn't strike them. Well, by that extension, if the weapons hitting Russia are made in the U.S., then Russia should hit the U.S., which I'm not calling for. The West started this. Zbigniew Brzezinski helped engineer it before he died, and Victoria Nuland and Soros, they brag. Again, I've played the clips dozens of times. The Ursula von der Leyen, the unelected EU, and her designate, her aide de camp, saying, we're going to have a 20-year war. We're going to break Russia in pieces. Well, they've already lost. It didn't work. So all you can do is then go to full war with Russia. And they said 6 months ago, we have the northern group of the NATO, led by Starmer and Macron and Almirs, and when they're not snorting cocaine on trains, none of them have ever been in the military. It's just, you know, it's like you got these guys ever in the military, and you got these women with their long fingernails and fancy dresses. They're billionaires taking Pfizer money. Oh, well, if we can't crush Russia, we can't crush China. You can't crush anybody because there's nuclear weapons, dumbass. Napoleon and Hitler couldn't do it, and there weren't nuclear weapons then, you crazy people. So it's true megalomania. It is satanic brain rot. And now Russia said, no NATO, and you're not going to have weapons, and you're not moving foreign troops in. And they've said for 6 months, oh, we're going to put a 250,000-man EU NATO army in there. Even if it isn't NATO, it'll be from NATO. And then when the Russians blow them up, because they're attacking the Russians, they're going to scream, oh, Russia attacked us, Russia attacked NATO. So this is a way to get around Article 5 that Ukraine's not part of, is to put in their peacekeeping force. Then they get killed because they're directing attacks on Russia. They'll misrepresent it, and now you wake up and you're dead. And then all the Russians are dead too, and I guess Satan wins. So you talk about Antichrist versus Antichrist. You got the floor. I'm trying to shut up, Alexander Dugan. Talk about this. And where you see this going, and how you think we can get Trump back here. And to me, it's a good sign, though, that they have now moved on John Bolton, one of the main ringleaders. And the word is they've got grand juries open. He's going to be indicted very soon. So, but you're right, though, in your post. It's very schizophrenic. I want peace, but we may strike Russia if they don't make a deal. This is not a business deal. You can't do that with art of the deal with something like this. You've got to make Ukraine and NATO stop. Alexander Dugan.
So, first of all, I think that Trump, during Alaska meeting with Putin, that was a huge victory, a huge success of the peace on both parts. So Trump has shown his sovereignty, his power, to show to the world that he could bring peace. So that was the great victory for Trump, because he managed to put Russia on the table to start the peace talk. And I think that Russia and the person of Putin, who is very powerful now Russia is much more powerful than 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Now we are on the rise, and we are now in the offensive operation in Ukraine. So we are winning. And in spite of all that, Putin has agreed to come to Alaska, to American, to NATO territory, in order to speak with Trump. That was the sign of great respect of our political leader to American leader, to Trump. And they have achieved very important agreements about how to make the peace happen, how to organize that, how to fulfill the task of peace. But what came after? So the European leaders and Zelensky came to Washington, and I think the neocons, all the neocons, as Richard Blumenthal, as Lindsey Graham, and the other, Mark Levin, they came to Trump as well in order to persuade him to change some points, some elements, some expressions in the agreement between America and Russia. And the title, some strategical security from the West, was transformed in the clearly unacceptable elements of this agreement. So the European country should deploy their troops on the earth in the Ukraine, and United States of America should grant the no-fly zone over Ukraine. That is the total control over Ukraine by NATO. But we started to fight against that. So that was the origin. And Trump, many times, he has said the same thing, that the origin of that was a direct threat to Russia from NATO. And after having agreed with Putin to stop that, to cancel the causes, the origins, the sources of this situation, after that, the agreement is changed under our eyes by the pressure of globalists, of deep state, of the European anti-Trumpist, anti-MAGA leaders, and they transformed the original, very successful agreement between Putin and Trump in something totally different. So now, in the present version, it is impossible, it is unthinkable to accept that by Russia. We try at any price, we are trying to save the peace agreement. But now I think that there is the huge operation of sabotage of this peace. And it is directed not only against us. We could stay the fight. If we will be obliged, we can fight until our death against this aggression, because we consider the behavior of the NATO in Ukraine as aggression, direct aggression against our country, as if, for example, we would try to impose our military and political control over Mexico, over Canada, and threatening the United States of America to attacking its legitimate strategical interest. And now we are in this, we are on the fence. So, and we were already, we have agreed with Trump, but what was done with this previous agreement in Alaska, that great step toward the peace, was sabotaged, was destroyed, was disfigured, was dismantled by the pressure of this deep state. We could not only blame the European countries or Zelensky. They need war. They are totally, as you have said correctly, Alex, they are totally irresponsible, or maybe they are just sick people wanting to die. But they have destroyed and disfigured this original plan. And I think the problem with Trump, that he, with all the good desire, with all his goodwill and his absolute loyalty to American interests and American people, now he is fooled.
And
he
Alexander,
is tricked.
Dugan, to quantify that, I totally agree, and I predicted this. Trump said, no, you're going to give up some territory. You've lost. You don't have the cards. Do it. We'll come in with a security zone with the U.S. And then the European leaders smartly came in and acted nice to him and said, yes, 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 but then came back with the original plan that is all of Russia's red lines. And so Trump, over time gets wise to this. He understands the back and forth, but he has to be very firm with them, because we're funding 85% of it and running all of the actual operations with the sophisticated weapons. And Trump has said that before, but he's trying to just over time discredit them and get them on board, but that gives them time to launch false flags, you name it. So let me ask you this question. How would the United States exit out of this, and what do you think NATO would do? Would they try to go it alone? And then, or could we remove Zelensky and then have elections? Could the U.S. fix the problem that way? Or are we so infiltrated with NATO and British intelligence it can never happen?
So first of all, I think that there is no easy solution to the situation, because in order to understand the depth of the situation, of the present crisis in our relations with the West, we need to get to the history. We could not avoid that, because the history, it is a most important element of that. So first of all, we need to understand that it is about the civil war, as you have said that. So in order to put the end to the civil war, you need to understand the both parts. You need to get in the details, in the history, and the identity. That is first. And that is, we could not suggest some simplistic solution for that. The other thing, it is the globalist agenda that tries to destroy the globalists. They try to destroy any obstacle on their way to impose on the humanity the world government. So, and they use Zelensky as the element, as a tool. They could sacrifice them. Almost 2 million of Ukrainian people, Russian people already dead in this war. They want more because they don't care about the real losses. So
Lindsey Graham's made jokes about, oh, it's great, we got the Russians all killing each other. They laugh about it.
Exactly, and that is cynical, and that is very cruel thing. Because when you lose your own children, your very close friends, so that is a very important thing, and Europe and the West is out of that. So you risk nothing, and that you are using our part of Russian.
And that's where the delusion comes in. When all the RAND Corporation, all the war games say it leads to nuclear war, you have all these people like Lindsey Graham and Ursula von der Leyen and Starmer that are so disconnected from reality. That's the real danger.
Absolutely. But if we consider that, if we put this conflict, Ukrainian conflict, in the broader context, we see that is nothing to do with interest of the West, because the main problem, as many times J.D. Vance or Peter Hegseth, they have said that the problem with the West, is the liberal elites, corrupted, they're globalists. They have transformed your societies, your country into some hell with immigrants, with this perverted people, with gender
so
politics.
Speaking to that, in the time we have left, I can talk to you for hours. Who is Zelensky? And to the question of, I guess Trump's so surrounded by spies he can't do it. Why not just remove Zelensky and then hold elections? Because we know the U.S. basically runs NATO. What are are there any, I know it's complex, but are there any quick fixes?
So maybe that could solve the situation, because he is totally illegitimate, and I think in the free elections he will be immediately replaced by some other. But the problem is, to say the truth, the real friend of Trump, real friend of MAGA, it is Russia, traditionalist Russia, that is fighting against the same enemy you are fighting inside your society, inside the West. Because that is not about Russians or Americans or Europeans. It is about who rules this globalist, corrupted elite, or the sovereign nations, sovereign people, sovereign countries.
I totally agree. So clearly, though, correct me if I'm wrong, Russia's doing even better economically under attack. That which doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, to quote Nietzsche. And Russia's won the war for strategic aims that it stated. It doesn't want Ukraine. It wants a security zone. And so Russia holds the cards unless the West is willing to go to full nuclear war, and then nobody holds the cards. And so that just needs to be stated, and Trump just needs to execute that. And I agree, the very same Hollywood pedophile scum that's attacking Russia, because it's gotten back to its roots, is attacking us. It hates anything strong or sovereign. Can you just briefly speak to, has Russia gotten stronger under all of this, which I think is a fact, but how much stronger has it gotten, really being inoculated against color revolution? You see the other mass awakening to globalists and elections being won everywhere, so the EU's trying to ban their political opposition. They are getting weaker every day. They're being exposed. And so they need to capitulate, but they won't capitulate.
So first of all, economically, now we are on the rise because we depended too much from the other country, from international trade. And now we were obliged to do that. We started to develop our own industry, economy, high tech. So we believed in the international cooperation, and that was the illusion. And we have paid the price for that. And after all of these sanctions, we started to rely on ourselves. And there is a huge economical miracle now in Russia. We are in a rise. We have prospering economy relying on ourselves. So we have replaced all the weak points in our economy by our own production, industry. We have created many worker place. So we are on the rise economically, and the sanctions made us very much good. So that was the gift from the West, these sanctions, because we started to rely on ourselves, and that is economical. We have regained the economical sovereignty, and that is the way to the civilizations, to the people, to the society to follow.
That's right. That's what scares BlackRock and the Rothschilds and their attack on humanity. So, just in a brief, you did a great job, Dr. Carlson. Can you explain the stages of liberalism and why it leads to the end of humanity?
So I think that liberalism from the beginning, I hate to say it is sad to say it, but from the beginning it was something false, it was wrong, because liberalism made equation. The liberals identified to be human and to be individual. But if you are only individual, you are going to lose, you are going to be liberated from all kind of collective identity. And to be human, it is collective identity. That why now from gender politics, there is the shift from gender politics to the post-humanist politics, because the last thing you should do to liberate the individual from collective identity, it is abandon human identity and to transform yourself in something post-human, maybe machine, maybe artificial general intelligence or chimera and something like that. So liberalism is arriving at its final point, and that is precisely, as Peter Thiel has said it, that is something antichrist in that is satanic. So that is the logic of the development of the post-Christian, anti-Christian Western modern secular model. So liberalism has led to this conclusion, and there are the people, there are societies who resist against that, who don't want to accept this identification between human and individual. They try to save the collective identity, the family, the church, the state, the nation, the culture, the history, all kind of identities, collective identities. And that is, I think, the main meaning of the final battle, so the humans against post-humans, the traditional civilizations, traditional values against this globalist agenda. And that is why the globalists really hate Putin, hate Russians, hate us, because we are defending that. And I thought that MAGA is about the same thing, about about to save the human meaning of.
But now it's going in the wrong direction, so we have to correct it, and that's what we're doing. Is I've noticed the Israel lobby and others try to put all this pressure on us to not do Iran and all that, and said, "Oh, you're not the real MAGA. Shut up. No, you're the fake MAGA that was anti-Trump. We are here to not panic, but to put Trump's feet to the fire." And we're having big success. But, pulling back from that, the Amish lived about 86 on average. The average American 74. Our how long we live is dropping. The system's killing us. The Amish are a control group. So if you've got Russia and a few other countries that get out of globalism and then do well, the rest of the world sees that and says, oh, this is a bad system. They need total control so that nobody can escape. And that's why all these Hollywood people hate Russia so much. They thought they had control of it under communism. Now they really didn't after Lenin was gone, in my view. And now they're in total panic mode because they see not just Russia, but more countries leaving it, led by Eastern Europe for whatever historical reasons. Maybe you can speak to that briefly. And they just see everything slipping through their hands. So they think if we can just crush MAGA and crush Russia, that will supposedly turn the tide. But the tide's already inexorable against them. I wish they would accept defeat.
So I think that MAGA is the great example of how the people could win. So we have almost forgotten this state of things when the good could win, and in our eyes, so we were absolutely happy with the victory of Trump over all the enemies, all the hatred he experienced during his political career. So the victory of MAGA was the sign that the people could win, that we could overcome, that their power of the globalist, corrupted, liberal, post-humanist elite could be overcome by the will of the good people. And I think that is why some steps of President Trump are so painful for us, because we consider him to be the symbol of the victory of the good sense, of the normality over this perversion. So in my lessons at university, I'm making some schemes, some pictures about the history, about the logic, and there is very important point that I have added the last year. So after the victory of the Trump, so there is the possible return to the normality, and the MAGA victory and the Trump's victory was the sign of great return to the normality. And that is
Alexander,
why
I know you've got to go soon. We got to go a little bit late. I got a 2-minute break. Do 5 more minutes. I want you to finish up. Also talk about the anniversary of your daughter's murder in 2022. Just briefly, 5 more minutes. But what you're saying is so important. But regardless, Trump is an archetype, and now the seeds of this started in Russia. Trump expanded America. You know, these two big polar powers. That's where the revolution would actually come from if you're going to win it. Regardless of what happens to Trump, these seeds are planted. They're not going anywhere, and people have a real hunger for sovereignty and a return to God's plan. Back with Alexander Dugan in 2 minutes. AG Dugan on X. Well, I appreciate Alexander Dugan joining us. I've read some of his books. Some have been translated in English. You can find those. We'll put the URL up for you to find his books there. But his daughter, on August 20th, 2022, was blown up after an event they had. They were trying to get him, and right in front of him, he saw that. I know it's hard to talk about for him, but he's definitely got skin in the game for what we're talking about here. But just, you know, remembering her and, you know, others and others that have been persecuted, it will be such a victory for humanity to end this. And this is the globalist plan. It's beyond insane, and it's so satanic. And if Trump can do this and if Putin can do this, it's just so important for everybody. So just in closing, speaking about your amazing daughter and all her great work as a journalist, and just how dirty the Ukrainians and the British intelligence have been, and the CIA, just a little bit about your daughter, Daria Dugina, here in closing.
Daria was, when they killed her, they tried to kill the future. And now, after 3 years of her death, there was inaugurated the monument for her as a sign of recognition from our people, from our motherland. So they tried to kill us all, to kill me, to kill the thought. They could not speak with me, with us. They could not convince that they are right in the dialogue. So they use the weapon, they use the explosives, and they have killed her. They have killed myself, because for me that would be much easier to die and to experience and to live what I came and I'm coming through But I think they didn't win. After all, they didn't win. And it is not only the memory, that is the message. We have assembled the Daria's texts in 5 books, and these books are translated now in English, in Italian, and Spanish, and many other languages. So the Daria lives. Her ideas lives, and she inspired so many people, the thousands, maybe the tens of thousands of people to come and to defend Russia. So she has created a fire. She started the awakening process in our society. So nothing is in vain in the eyes of God. And I am very, very grateful to all the people through all the world who expressed their condolences to my daughter. And she lives. I believe she will live forever as the soul, and she will resurrect at the end time. So I strongly believe in God, in church, in the soul, and I think only that belief helps to me to live more.
Well, absolutely. If they were trying to kill her ideas, all they did was make them 100 times stronger. And she definitely lives forever and has got the, the real Viking King death there. So she lives forever, and beautiful person, amazing writings, and a patriot. And, that's why these cowards did this. And it just shows the type of scum they are, and all the rest of the lies they tell that are just absolute crap. Like hundreds of thousands of kids kidnapped by Russians. The Russians go, tell us who they are. We'll give them all lies. I just follow the truth, and I see a lot more truth out of Russia than I see out of the evil people that have hijacked our West and are trying to cut our sons' genitals off. So God bless you. God bless your daughter. God bless your wife. I know you've been through a lot. And Alexander Dugin, thank you so much. In the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. God bless you, Alexander Dugin. We appreciate you, and Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. She got the Obi-Wan Kenobi death, folks. You can't be more powerful than that. Every guest I have had in studio in the last 6 months, I've given our medical grade USP methylene blue tube. I don't even tell them what's going to do. I just say, here, take this, see what happens. Within 15 to 30 minutes, every guest says they've gotten energy like they've never experienced. Clarity, focus. It's like a fog has lifted. Their critical thinking goes to the next level. And that's what the science shows it does in our cells. It's not a stimulant, but it has that effect because it electrochemically turns up the literal electrochemical electricity in the body. And so he was here a few months ago, didn't know what it was, known me for a long time, said sure, he'll take it. He'd heard Kennedy talk about it, RFK Jr. He took it, and it was so game-changing. And the last few months, he ran out of the bottle I gave him, so he wanted more. And the first thing he wanted was to take some more before we even went live on air. That's how amazing this is. You want to do the plug, and I appreciate this.
I do. I came in
because you came in saying, I want more methylene blue, and then I looked over when you went on the air, you'd already slurped some down. Your mouth was blue. I said, you're Papa Smurf. So, Patrick Byrne.
How much is the correct amount to put in? About that much?
Yeah, I mean, Kennedy does 3 droppers. This is really strong.
You gave me some last time. I think you gave it on air. You totally feel the difference. I used the bottle you gave me. It's great. It totally makes it, you can feel it. It just keeps your energy level up and plateaued without bonks. So I love it. I used the bottle you gave me, and I came back to Austin just to pick up this pump.
Well, you can always get it at thealexjoneshow.com, but we'll certainly give you all you want. We also have the capsules, but we have the strongest medical grade. It's super good for you. It cleans out your mitochondria. Most people get instant energy, like 99% of people, but it's the workout. It's what it does for your skin, your libido. So you've been on it a few months.
I just had that one bottle, but...
and you're saying no letdown. That's the best part. It's not an amphetamine. It's not a speed, but it feels like that.
It's throughout. I see RFKs on it. Yeah, I just used up that bottle, and so for a couple of weeks, I had this great energy, but it's not speed, it's not caffeine, it's nothing like that. It's doing something else for you. So I really...
Well, it skips 3 levels of the oxygenation process in the cells. It's just next level. It's incredible. And they've suppressed it. And my medical doctor 6 years ago said, get on it. And I said, get USP grade. It didn't do anything. And then our sponsor got this super strong one. I'm like, oh, let me try it. Whoa. I mean, it funds the operation, folks. But I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten our USP grade, real USP grade, ultimate methylene blue, thealexjoneshow.com, you are missing out. It is so good for you. 99% of people, it's more than that, it was like 400 people, maybe 2 or 3 didn't feel it. Some get totally freaked out that they're going crazy, so talk to a physician first. Take a very low dose the first time. You can't take it from SSRIs and other things. It is amazing, thealexjoneswar.com. So,
yeah, it's not psychosomatic. It's not psycho. You feel it. You feel it.
Well, I didn't tell you what you were going to feel. How fast did it kick in, and what did you feel?
I felt it by the end of the show. By the time I got the last time I was here, I felt it probably by the end of the show or by the time I got in my car. You feel instant energy, but without the jitteriness of caffeine and focus. What I felt was focus, mental focus. It's probably like why you are as intense as you are, Alex.
It's made me more intense. Well, I was taking full doses at first, and then working out so hard that I had to go.
You look jacked.
Well, I've cut back. The point is, I only take it every 3 days now because it's crazy. Everything we sell, is working and is good. That's what I want. I mean, I'll be like a restaurant. They're going to serve dog to people. They're not going to come back. But I mean, this thing is the most dramatic, quick acting, and it's good for you. It's just insane. And if I could just get a few more percentage of the audience to buy it, all our problems would be solved. Patrick Byrne was totally blown away by it, as every other guest we've given it to has been blown away.